Welcome in, Tuesday edition, Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio here with you this morning. Some SEC basketball, the wealth gap in college athletics, college football specifically, is conferences and TV deals and all that stuff still very much in the news cycle. Pete Thamel yesterday with the story on that. It was mentioned in the stream. We didn't have the time to really go through it, but we do now. So we'll do that today, hit some other topics as well. Hope all of you have a wonderful morning. Remember the Oxford Exxon Blue Sky here in Oxford giving away 4 box seat tickets for every Sunday home series this season in baseball. That's Maryland this week. It's a lot of SEC teams coming in, 5 different ones, Purdue in a few weeks as well. So all you have to do is you have to tag Oxford Exxon for a chance to win those 4 tickets. You tag them on Twitter. You use hashtag RebelReady. That's RebelReady, and you're entered in to win those tickets to a series finale of the week here as the baseball season continues. Ole Miss plays Arkansas State today at 4:00. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900's that number. Call it, ask for our buddy Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is completely up to you. You can shop it around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. 662-257-1900. Guest at some point in the week will join on the myperfectfranchise.net hotline. If you're a displaced corporate executive, you're wanting to put your career in your own hands, maybe you're an experienced entrepreneur wanting to diversify, Andy Ludicky can help. He owns multiple franchises and businesses. He uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy. Put your life and your career in your own hands. It's 100% free, so you have nothing to lose. Find your perfect franchise at myperfectfranchise.net or contact Andy at myperfectfranchise.net or 404-973-9901.
Saw on Twitter yesterday, too. You don't necessarily think about this. We'll tell you about the meats and the proteins, but pretty good salads going on at the Blue Sky here in Oxford as well. A lot of fresh ingredients with those, several different options as well. So you can see videos, see pictures on the Twitter machine at Oxford Exxon, or just stop in and see for yourself. I don't know. I'm all over the place this morning a little bit.
Yeah, I'm on.
Wow,
what was that?
Was that garbage or speed bump?
I hope that was a speed bump.
You're rooting for chassis to fall out. I mean, it's
well, I mean, people come flying through here 55 miles an hour, and there's kids and there's dogs, and I know that I have a reputation for I don't care about anyone, but I don't want them to see any of my neighbors hurt.
You want the idiots to be punished.
I mean,
that's kind of what it is. I tell you, I wish I had speed bumps instead, even slowing down. My neighborhood has those like concrete island things in the middle. They're supposed to slow you down because you kind of like have to be careful. You're going to run over them and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something nobody cares about. And I promise we'll get into sports, but you'll understand this is running. There's nowhere for the cars to go to get out of your way. So you're constantly having to get off the road because they can't get into the middle and just let you go by. So It's a lot more of, I feel like I'm playing Frogger a lot more than I ever have in the past with those things. It's a little bit of an issue.
There's a few places in our neighborhood where you have to get off the sidewalk and into the street to get where you're trying to go. And it's right where cars come out of turns.
Uh-huh.
And there's a lot of speeders, and it's a little scary in some spots.
Kyle, thanks for the super chat. Says, can we get a speed bump camera? We could set something up off Neal's house. I mean, it's like right there. We could get a great view just right there onto the speed bump.
Yep.
Live cam. Put it on rebelgrove.com 24 hours a day. Watch people come through.
I'm operating on about an hour and a half of sleep. And
is it that bad?
I can feel it right now, yeah. Yeah, I'm a little zoned out. I just couldn't sleep. I tried.
Did you get it early in the night or late? Because, I mean, you didn't do that thing where you got up at like midnight because of your situation,
Yeah,
did you?
pretty much.
Did you really?
Yeah. I went to bed at 10. Actually,
that's early enough. You still
was watching Kansas and who'd they play? TCU. Kansas won. Carson and I were watching Kansas and TCU, and it got to be about 9:55, and he was going to bed, and I said, I'm going to bed too, and I turned it off, and I just couldn't sleep. Anyway, no one cares. Sorry. But if I just drift off into the nether,
you're tired. I'm a little tired. I'm preoccupied with something. Like it's the morning. It is what it is. It's Tuesday. As I said, from a scheduling standpoint, Ole Miss, Arkansas State today, 4:00. I don't know. The Red Wolves are the Red Wolves. They haven't won in Oxford in like 15 years. Uh, they have a slew of a ton of new players. It's like 22 newcomers or something on Arkansas State's team, something like that. Whatever. I don't know. JT Quinn's the reason to go to the game. If you go in today, the freshman throws really, really hard, but everybody gets hung up on his fastball. It's not his fastball. His breaking stuff's really good. It's why he's a potential starter. And even though he's 96, 97, he hit some 98s in the fall. It needs a little more movement. It's a little flat, honestly. They'll get there. He's just a freshman, but the off speed stuff's really good. He has legitimate breaking stuff, so he's the reason to go today. Check him out. See how he looks against the Red Wolves. So
that's an issue all the way up. I was reading a story about the Cubs rotation, the battle for the 5th spot. One of the guys throws pretty hard, but the stuff doesn't move as much as they'd like for it to move, and they've been in the pitch lab trying to
figure it out.
Yeah,
the pitch lab is cool. Like some of that pitch lab stuff where they figure out the ways to tunnel, what pitches go with what, how you can change little bits of arm angles here to completely change everything. I mean, it's fascinating stuff.
I don't know how people take a round bat up there and hit it at that level where everybody's just, I don't know how you don't lose your mind. And probably you do a little bit.
You've got to have a great mental game to just forget it and go, okay, nope.
As a professional hitter, you encounter so much failure that you have to be remarkably mentally tough. I've heard Joey Votto talk about it.
Oh, really?
There's so much failure.
And he's more successful than most.
Yeah. But think about it. I mean, you fail so often that you have to just dismiss it. How many times a really good major league hitter goes 3 games where he just fails? For 3 games. Just, I failed.
0 for 9, 0 for 11.
Yeah, I was at a game in Houston last year with the Yankees, and I watched Aaron Judge do nothing that night. And you're like, that's the most prolific power hitter in the game today. He basically didn't touch a ball. And you think he has to just hop on the plane and let it go. Play tomorrow.
But they've done it for so long and are so used to it that it just is the way of the world. I mean, it's the way they operate. So I don't know. Curious to see a little bit what Mike does with his lineup today as far as how many regulars play versus trying to get some at-bats for some of these freshmen, figure out what that looks like. I assume he definitely wants to get Mason Nichols in the game simply because he didn't pitch over the weekend. He's going to be trying to do some different things with that.
It's one of the negatives to 10 running people is that you lose some innings. Lose some chances to get some at-bats.
And he's kind of said that, but he's in favor of it so much that he's careful on criticizing it too much. Because his point is, but is that at-bat really meaningful? His point is, if it's 14-1, is that an intensity level enough to really even focus on that at-bat to give you anything?
And Delaware had to work a lot harder to get outs than you did. And so when you make them play more meaningless innings, they're putting stress on them that could be avoided. And so you'd like to sometimes think of the other team too.
Frankly, teams are more willing to just do the 10-run rule. I mean, that's what I did a story on it last year when I was talking to Mike, and they had a ton more 10-run games, but I went back through their schedule over the course of his tenure, and they had won a ton of games by more than 10 runs where the 10-run rule wasn't in effect. And he said that it was mostly on the other team, that he always gives them the option, and that other teams are becoming more okay with putting the 10-run rule in, which I find interesting. Because, I mean, if you're UT Martin, I'm just pulling it out, why would you not agree to the 10-run rule on Tuesday? Like, just by God, I need these 9 innings from my pitchers? I mean, like,
that would be the only reason. That would be, otherwise you're just being stupid.
Yeah, but he said that a lot of times, no, we're good. Play the 9. Okay.
You're down 17-1 after 7. You're like, why aren't we still here?
And we're here to 11. You're getting back at 3 now because you're driving back to Martin. Like, what are we doing? Because someone, the bus driver goes, I could be on the road right now, and it's 17-1 in the top of the 8th, and here we go.
Yeah. And frankly, that's when people get hurt and stuff because you're not particularly focused.
It's a story on ESPN.com today. I'm not going to go through all of them because, frankly, I did not prepare for it. But they have a way for all top 25 teams in college football to make the playoff next season. So if you'd like some reading material on a lot of Pollyanna this morning, you can do that on ESPN. Welcome to February 21st football coverage, Mr. McCready. Welcome to February 21st football coverage.
I get it, but come on. It's one of my weaknesses on this job, and I'll admit it, is that I think I'm a little too pragmatic.
You don't do the field filler very well.
I don't.
No.
I don't do, hey, it's February, let's write about football. Like I see all these people doing spring practice previews, and I'm like, oh, man, really?
Yeah. The defensive line.
And it's just going in and here's who's back and here are the stats, and yet I don't know whether...
Well, you don't know if they're going to be back in August.
Well, and I don't know how many of the guys are having some sort of a surgery where they're going to miss part of the spring. You usually find that out on the first day. But they got bigger, faster,
and stronger.
Well, everybody's bigger, faster, stronger.
Over the off season. They did.
Yeah, I do wait.
They hit the weight room hard. The strength coach really getting a lot of gains in.
I kind of want the off season where they go, we're bigger and we're stronger, but I don't think we're faster. I think we're
slower this year.
I think we've gained so much bulk that we've slowed down.
We put some bad weight on.
Yeah.
Really trying to fix that.
I'm not good at that.
Is that the number one college football trope? Is that you're the only off-season team getting bigger, faster, and stronger?
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to make some huge gains next season because look at him in the weight room and look how that guy worked.
We've had a great summer. Guys really worked hard.
Quarterbacks leading them.
It's a bingo.
A lot of 7-on-7.
The bingo card. Media Days bingo. By the way, Media Days July 17th through the 20th. It's in Nashville this year.
I did not know that.
Ole Miss goes on the 20th.
Last day.
Lane's on the last day.
Who's he with?
I don't remember. I can pull it up. I can find it somewhere.
I'll look for it real quick.
Tennessee's the last day too, which was smart. So it's Kiffin and Heupel and
I got him.
Okay, somebody else.
This is what we do on February 21st. Monday, July 17th, LSU, Missouri, and Texas A&M.
Along with Sankey.
Correct. So they're pretty smart on this always. The way this works is you get Jimbo the first day to keep them for the whole day, and you get Sankey at the beginning of the day to get them there early.
Yeah.
That's how the SEC does this.
Sure.
So they made sure that, and then nobody gives a shit about Elias, so he's in the middle, and it just sits there. The second day, you get Kirby and Freeze in the morning. So you get them there in the morning. Everybody show up in the morning for those two guys. The afternoon's kind of a dead day. Tuesday in the afternoon is always sort of whatever. People are, if you're going to go play golf, that's the day you're getting it in. You're kind of doing some stuff. It's Zach Arnett and Clark Lee together in a session on that Tuesday afternoon.
I'll go see my boy Clark.
Will you?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go this year and go to all 4 days.
We typically could get a lot of podcast interviews over those days.
Yeah,
that week. It's helpful.
I didn't. The last couple of years, Ole Miss has gone early, and it's been tempting just to get the hell out of there. But with them going on the final day, I think that's what I'm going to do.
Somebody asking in the stream, why did Aaron Suttles leave The Athletic? He is heading up media coverage for Alabama's Collective. He is promoting and writing and distributing content about the Collective at the University of Alabama.
I have heard that he received an offer that he simply could not turn down.
It's smart. It's a really interesting deal.
Look, you go from having no access
to unlimited access.
I mean,
it's literally.
And for a guy like Aaron, who is as good of a writer as he is and as good of a storyteller as he is
going to human interest the hell out of that Alabama football team.
And he won't have the pressure of the beat.
But it's great. For fans, it's huge. They're going to get to know the players a little bit.
Sure.
They're going to see personalities. They're not going to be robots in crimson.
Sure.
With the helmet on. I mean, it's a really smart play.
And he's a brilliant writer. He's a very good storyteller. And he'll do great. Yeah. And I get it. And for him, there was probably, because Aaron's a big J journalist. And it probably was hard. But I've heard that the offer was too good to turn down.
He's probably been able to. The only way he was able to probably do it is he's slippery sloped just enough. You know what I mean? Like every job's been a little more and a little more and a little more, and then you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
that's where it's going.
GJG says professional puff piece writer. Yeah, in a way.
Yep.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
But it is storytelling. He is going to actually tell the same kind of human interest stories he would be able to tell, which is probably his favorite part of the job anyway.
And now,
So he gets
instead
to
of
just
having
do
to
that.
harass people to get them to talk to him, they'll talk to him voluntarily. And when he says, hey, what's your mom's number? He'll get that. He'll get all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yeah, I get it. I think it's really smart for any collective, frankly. I think that makes all the sense in the world. Because from a human interest standpoint, from the things fans kind of care about, frankly. I mean, because look, you still, if somebody gets arrested or whatever, there's going to be plenty of people at Alabama covering that. He's going to provide something that is not provided right now because of the lack of access.
Yeah, from a lifestyle standpoint.
Oh,
I mean,
hanging out, boy.
You go off you're not on the beat anymore. You're not having to
just
follow stuff. That's the part of our jobs that I don't think, I'm not complaining. People say, what's the one negative to your job? It's very easy for me to tell you that you're never off.
More than ever before.
You know, like you're going to Disney World in March and you're going to have the hardest time. The hardest part for you is going to be putting it away.
Oh, I mean,
just putting it away.
I'm bad at it anyway. Yeah,
putting it away. Enjoy the week. That's the hardest part.
Mm-hmm. It's partly why I don't always enjoy vacations because it's very, 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 very hard to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so involuntary. You just kind of don't even pay attention. You're like,
sure,
start flipping around and bored and Twitter.
It's a negative because it wears you out.
Because when you step back, look, none of us are that important. It's going to be all right for 4 days.
Doesn't matter at all.
It's all good.
Doesn't matter at all.
Nothing's burning to the ground.
I mean, I'm rolling the dice on the basketball thing a little bit. There's going to be a couple of days, the Saturday and Sunday of the SEC tournament. I'm taking Carson to see a couple of NBA games because he's been wanting to go. You know, and so I don't think they'll move that quickly, but if they do, I mean, I'll be quasi ready, but I mean, I don't know how the whole Kermit announcement's going to go down. No clue.
Yeah, I mean, Hardman said I think it's a common issue with every job. Yeah, I mean, look, it's more and more and more jobs every day have gone that way to whatever extent.
Sure.
I mean, there are still, whether it be 8 to 5 or simply set schedule jobs, those do exist. But, I mean,
But Aaron's job will be kind of that way now. I mean, I'm sure he'll do some nights and weekends, but my point is
quality of life?
He won't be on
because like his
times.
Game day will be just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
Write a little bit, sure, whatever.
Or he might not even have to go. Probably not doing work on game day. Maybe he is. I don't know. But if he is, it's...
Yeah, I don't know what their site setup is like.
Yeah.
So, no, the more I think about it, I go, hey.
Sure. I mean, if the number's big enough.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So who's day 3 at Media Days?
It is Nick Saban in the morning.
Okay.
He's going along with Sam Pittman.
Okay.
That afternoon is Billy Napier and Mark Stoops. Sneaky, interesting day.
Yeah.
On that afternoon.
Yeah.
I don't mind that combination.
You get Saban, you got a coach that's kind of on the hot seat. Napier that's he's going to get all
get going.
Well, he's going to get all the Rashada stuff.
Yeah.
And then Stoops, who's just sitting back counting his money.
Mark Stoops making 8-6.
Hey, listen.
8-6 at Kentucky.
Listen, there's a lot of people in this world that would like to be Mark Stoops today. Mark Stoops is living right.
Well, it's Andy Staples' thing. He says Kentucky's the number one job in America because the pressure versus what they're willing to pay. If you're just talking about cost of living and quality of life, he thinks Kentucky is the number one job in the country.
I've been saying this for years.
Yeah.
I should have written it.
Yeah, you should have.
But I've been saying it on this show for a long time.
Their expectations are lower than some of those other teams in that tier. They're lower than Ole Miss.
Oh, I think the 2 best jobs in the league are Kentucky and South Carolina. You win 8 games a year at those places, it's cake. They're never going to really expect more. They'll bitch a little bit on game day, but you're good. Like if Kiffin rolls an 8-4 next year, people like you and me are going to be like, that's a really good job. And a lot of fans will too, but there will be a lot of people that are like, we pay for more than that. And if he rolls a 7-5, whew. There'll be some backlash at 7-5. Even though if you made me put a number down today, I'd go 7-5.
I mean, last year
in a heartbeat. Last year I said 8-4.
Last year was 7-5 if they play Georgia instead of Kentucky.
Yeah,
which is the schedule this year.
I looked at the schedule last year 1,000 times and kept coming 8-4.
Yeah.
every time. And they go 8-4, and everybody's like, God, they finished badly. And I'm like, yeah, you could see that coming in the summer. But in the moment, it feels emotional.
Then the final day to keep media in town, Lane Kiffin, Shane Beamer, and Josh Heupel to close it off. Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Tennessee. It's a good final day.
That's a strong day.
That's a good final day.
Yeah.
Day 1 and 4 are the best because you get them there and get them out.
You get Saban in day 3. And then next year, you add Oklahoma. Next year, it's going to be a circus. Oklahoma and Texas add to it. Dude.
Where's that at next year? Do we know?
I've heard Dallas, but I don't know.
Really?
Yep.
We're doing that now?
Do it at Jerry World.
Is this the same thing as when we put the basketball tournament in St. Louis or Kansas City or wherever up there at that time?
I don't know.
You giving them the bone?
You're giving them a bone
because that doesn't make
sure.
sense otherwise.
No, it doesn't.
Geographically, it's stupid.
To make the people from the East Coast go all the way to Texas.
It should always be in Birmingham or Nashville.
Yeah, I think Nashville's a natural.
Just let Nashville start being the hub for the events.
They ought to move the league office there.
Good luck there.
I know.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Good luck.
But they should. Because when they play the basketball tournament there, you're like, you know what? This just makes so much freaking sense.
But I mean, it's the truth. I mean, like it's like it would be like putting the SEC meetings like up the East Coast somewhere. It's like, hold on a minute. Like, what are we doing? I mean,
I know.
Destin works. It makes sense. It's in the little footprint.
Which is the weird thing about the SEC network being based out of Charlotte.
Yeah. It tells you it's logistical in nature with what they have and where they need to be and all that kind of stuff. They already had stuff there. So, anyway. All right, moving on. Before we do that, I'll tell you about your national champions being back for another exciting year of Ole Miss baseball. You can show your support for their efforts on the field this season by signing up for the Pledge Per Win and Pledge Per Home Run campaigns. Donations are charged every Monday. They're allocated to your Blue Priority point total, and they're up to 90% tax deductible. Sign up today by visiting give2athletics.com/donate or call the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation at 662-915-7159.
Now, a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. It can be tough to train your brain to stay in problem-solving mode when faced with a challenge in life, but when you learn how to find your own solutions, there's no better feeling. A therapist can help you become a better problem solver, making it easier to accomplish your goals, no matter how big or small. I've used therapy as a way to handle stress, clear negative thoughts, mentally relax a little. It was a life changer for me. If you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. It's convenient, it's accessible, it's affordable, and it's entirely online. Get matched with a therapist after filling out a brief survey, and you can switch therapists anytime. When you want to be a better problem solver, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/MPW today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/MPW. Walk On Sports Bistro puts everything they've got into bringing you game day with the taste of Louisiana. Dig into their mouth-watering, made-from-scratch Louisiana cuisine, po' boys, gumbo, voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads, all in front of 70-plus TVs, 40-plus ice-cold beers on tap. You can also order online at walkons.com or on their convenient Walk-Ons app. Visit them in Oxford or Ridgeland today. And speaking of Ridgeland, the College Corner is your one-stop Rebel shop with 2 locations in the Jackson area, one in Ridgeland next to Fleet Feet, one in Flowood next to Half Shell. If you don't live in Jackson, it's okay. Go to collegecornerstore.com. Plus, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. They have the largest selection of Rebel gear in Central Mississippi. We're brought to you by our friends at Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. It's warming up outside. You might want to get that air conditioner checked. It's different names. It's the same great products, though, same great services, same people. If you live in Oxford, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or that area, call our friends at Southern, 662-429-4429. Speaking of Nashville, A-Stock Auctions is a Nashville-based online auction company with the mission to provide customers the power to name their price. All items at A-Stock start at just $1. That's right. Every item starts at just $1. Shop now at astock.bid. Download their app. Name your price on thousands of items from big-name retailers. A-Stock Auctions has multiple locations around Nashville that offer local pickups, so don't miss out. If you want it, bid it, win it.
Podcast is brought to you by Prime Shrimp, primeshrimp.com. 7 different flavors available for you. They're delivered directly to your door. Throw them in the freezer, and then fewer than 10 minutes, freezer to plate with Prime Shrimp. Everything from their newest offering, the New Orleans style barbecue, the signature, the meals in the bag. Those are the French Quarter Alfredo, the garlic herb butter, the Louisiana spicy option is there also. Plenty of great things, including their 2-pound bags of individually frozen shrimp. Like what's at the grocery store. It's a higher quality shrimp from the New Orleans-based company. So again, our code the last couple weeks, a new code, RG is the code. Buy 5 packs, 5 pouches or more, 25% off there with Prime Shrimp. That's primeshrimp.com. 3 games total. 2 good basketball games tonight in the SEC. At 6 o'clock on ESPN, Tennessee trying to get off the snide a little bit. They're at Texas A&M.
Good luck.
The number 25 Aggies at Reed Arena tonight for that one. And then at 6 o'clock as well, Mississippi State at Missouri. Pretty interesting game there. Bulldogs and
big
Tigers.
Game for both teams.
Is Missouri still in the conversation?
They're in it. They got a lot of work to do.
Got to get going.
Yeah, got to win games.
That net's got to be 50s at this point. Something like that.
I'll tell you right now.
And then the doubleheader, SEC Network doubleheader. The one game on ESPN is Tennessee A&M, and then the SEC Network doing the doubleheader. The nightcap on that one, Georgia at Arkansas. That feels like a blowout. But Bulldogs in Fayetteville.
Arkansas
tonight.
would be advised to win that game.
Yeah.
They don't have to blow them out, but they would be advised to win it. Missouri is 51 in the net. Mississippi State's 43. So State can get a quad 1 road win today. Be big. State's got 3 quad 1 wins, 4 quad 2 wins.
That's it.
That's it. They need a little resume piece.
Missouri opened as a 1-point favorite. They're now a 3.5-point favorite tonight against the Bulldogs. I think I would lay them.
Such contrasting styles. It's one team that's going to go super fast and another team that can really defend.
The over-under total 138.5.
I don't know. I'm not mentally sharp enough to
Does
do
it get
math
into
right
70-70?
now. Could. State has a hard time scoring 70. Do you have a hard time scoring 70 on State? They'll defend you.
Now, Missouri goes, but
Missouri goes. It's a different
money line wise, Bulldogs, if anything. But I mean, I want nothing to do with Missouri minus 165. I'm not giving up over 1.5 that State doesn't win that game at Mizzou today. No thanks. And then your other game, it opened at 1.5. It's still at 1.5. A&M by 1.5 against Tennessee.
lay 'em.
You're all in on the Aggies.
Totally.
All in.
Totally. Been in for weeks now.
129, the over-under there. 65-ish.
That's about right. Tony says the Musselman shine wearing off. Nah. They got injuries this year. And they're still going to make the tournament. Back-to-back Elite Eights. He's got a big-time class coming in. No, frankly, Eric Musselman's one of the people. If you're Keith Carter, you've got to look at people like Eric Musselman and go, I've got to find that guy. You agree with that, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. It sounds like, I mean, that's a couple of the comparisons people have made about Pat Kelsey at Charleston. It's maybe the name that most pops up from the current group of fives that makes sense.
I mean, Ole Miss would kill to have a Musselman. I mean, he makes so much sense.
Recruits, coaches,
markets,
got some quirk about him in a good way.
Mm-hmm. Good marketing. They're gonna make the tournament. Smith's back. I was reading in The Athletic today. Their bubble watch. We're talking about. They're not really on the bubble. They're pretty much in, but they were just saying they're interesting because what we've talked about is. And Musselman just finally last week apparently just went, oh, to hell with it. Here, let's figure. Here's our. If we're going to do something, this is how we'll do it. Let's see if we can work it out. So they're trying to incorporate a player this late into the season. But nah, he's fine. They still love him there. They're all their games are packed. Nah, they're good. There's several really healthy basketball programs in the league right now.
That was yours, I guess. Okay.
It was mine.
Okay.
You're jumpy. I understand why.
Speaking of Arkansas, the Razorbacks minus 13.5 tonight against Georgia. This is Vegas telling you, please don't touch this game because Arkansas is just dumb enough to cause a problem. The money line to bet on the Razorbacks is minus 1,100. Where they go, hey, guys, we're taking this one off the board by going, you make nothing by betting on the Razorbacks tonight.
I don't hate Georgia in the points because Arkansas has a tendency this year to build leads and then let the lead dissipate because they're young and this is not it's very clear watching him, this is not his favorite team.
It's like in a frustration way.
Yeah, I think he'd sometimes just they do a lot of dumb stuff. The opposite of Texas A&M. It's the reason I love Texas A&M. Like, you watch Texas A&M and you're like, they don't ever do anything stupid. Never. Never, ever. They just by the book.
I mean, look, this is why we have a podcast, because, I mean, this is great analysis. Buzz is one hell of a basketball coach.
Oh,
I mean,
oh my God. Dude.
It's why, like, early in his tenure, they were scuffing him and going, hey, is that going to work? It's like, yeah, it's going to work.
Yeah.
Give him a minute.
It's why.
Right. There's
why,
proof of concept here that it's going to work.
It's why, if you're Keith Carter, there's pressure on you, because you look around the league and you see a lot of healthy programs. Bama, Auburn, Texas A&M.
That's a good point.
Healthy programs, not teams.
Not elite, but just programs that are in a good, decent spot.
Kentucky's got this massive recruiting class coming in.
I'm not putting Kentucky in the negative category.
No. And so Arkansas's got another big class coming in. They had a big injury this year. I mean, look, if the kid Brazil doesn't get hurt, they've got, 8 wins right now in the league? They'd have 11. They'd be in better shape. Missouri, program-wise, is in pretty good shape. I think Mississippi State, program-wise, is in good shape. Now, there are some rumblings about Chris Jans and Wichita State that are interesting.
Really?
Yeah, it's out there in the coaching world, if you will, that he's on their target list.
What would that look like?
A ton of Coke money. Not Coca-Cola.
KOCH.
Exactly. That's what it would look like.
Yeah. Yeah, some people got confused when Jeffrey said that a couple weeks ago. KOCH. They can fund whatever the hell they want to fund. If they care, it's there.
And the rumor is they care.
They've decided to care.
So we'll see. But, if he stays, I think their program's in pretty good shape. And so you start looking around the landscape of the league, and there's a lot of programs in the league that are healthy. And you've got to figure out a way to get healthy. And what does health mean? It means that you're competitive, and it means that your games are exciting and people come to your games.
I mean, in the SEC right now, unhealthy teams. Alabama, clearly healthy.
Yeah,
I mean, got a great physical.
Got a 2 net. They're going to be a 1 national seed. They're pretty good.
And, I mean, the only issue with them at all is, can they keep Nate Oates long term? That's it. A&M, healthy program. Kentucky, healthy program. Tennessee, completely healthy program.
Very.
Suddenly, Vanderbilt's healthy.
Getting there.
Stackhouse is doing a good job. They've won some games. They're not firing him.
Nope.
Now, next season is going to be very critical for him, but I'm not saying unhealthy on Vanderbilt.
No.
Auburn, clearly. Arkansas, clearly.
Yeah.
Todd Golden is a hell of a basketball coach at the University of Florida.
Yeah.
I got no issue with him.
Look, if they don't lose Castleton, they had a shot. They're going to be good.
Dennis Gates is doing a really good job at Missouri.
They're at least healthy.
Georgia is stable under Mike.
They're as far as I'll go right now.
No, that's it. I mean, they're not a good team. They're probably not a good program. They're not embarrassing, though.
No, it's true.
They're fine.
Yeah.
They're in the middle, and relative to Georgia especially. I mean, Georgia's not going to the Final Four.
No.
I mean, it's Jim Herrick's not doing anything crazy here right now. State, South Carolina, Ole Miss, and LSU.
Yeah, LSU is not healthy.
No, that's bad.
I actually kind of like Lamont Paris right now. For some reason, there's something about him that I like. I didn't use it, but he came in when they beat Ole Miss. He came in before Davis did, and I asked him a question about, because he kept talking about effort. How, I asked how difficult is it to. I said, as a coach, you get it. You kind of you have a set of expectations that are realistic. Kids always go into the season going, hey, we're going to win. We're going to win. And then when you don't, how hard is it to kind of keep the effort coming? And he gave a really good, long, detailed answer that frankly was so long I didn't feel like transcribing it, but I might go back to it. I've saved it. But he was impressive. I liked him. And they've played pretty well down the stretch relative to what they are.
What is your take on LSU? I mean, we're not blaming McMahon necessarily.
No, I blame their administration. The more I hear about it, and obviously I've educated myself quite a bit, I don't think they had to fire Will Wade. I think they made a mistake.
Well, they were trying to save football.
They were trying to save football, and there were a couple people there that had their feelings in a wad about Will Wade. I think at the end of the day, they didn't have to do it. And he was very popular with their fans. So, I don't know.
The reason I say that on Georgia, some people talking about it in the stream, is that Georgia has a basketball history that's at least in the same ballpark as Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Ballpark.
Yeah.
If Ole Miss next year hires an established basketball coach who's been in a major program in a first year and is 16-11 and 6-8, nobody is going, oh my God, this is awful.
No, the pavilion will be packed.
It's fine.
Look, Sunday afternoon solidified this for me.
The women's
game. It was a women's game.
Yeah.
They're good. And they were playing a really highly ranked team.
Yeah, sure.
But it was a pretty day, and there'd already been baseball. And people still showed up in droves.
Yeah.
The whole, we play baseball. So what? We just listed schools. Some of these other schools play baseball too. That has nothing to do with anything. You can be good at baseball and still be good at basketball. And you can certainly be good at baseball and be competitive/relevant in basketball. We're not talking about, hey, get to the Final Four. I mean, let's be real here for a minute. For Ole Miss, the Sweet 16 right now is basically a national championship.
Oh, sure.
Making the tournament is success. Now, years from now, if you got to the tournament consistently, yeah, maybe you start, hey, it'd be cool to win a game or two. But if I offered you 3 trips to the NCAA tournament in 5 years and you only won 1 NCAA tournament game, most people would sign up. Because that means you're playing a whole bunch of relevant, fun, competitive games in February and early March. There's plenty of room on a college campus for that and a national championship caliber baseball program.
Sure.
The whole thing that those two things cannot exist as one is absolutely idiotic. And Sunday proved it.
Kyle asking now, how far would Oates have to go for Alabama to break ground on a new arena? Could you use that as a bargaining chip?
I mean,
I have not heard.
I think they're going to build the arena. I don't know that it's a bargaining chip. They want to keep him. I think Alabama gets it. Even Alabama, with all of their success in football, understands that you need basketball to be competitive. You need basketball to be fun. It looks really good on TV. And people watch TV. Prospective students watch TV. Basketball's fun. It's 2 hours inside. It's fun. Shit, I've got 2 kids that don't watch sports and they go to basketball games. I'm not sure they could tell you who they're playing or whether they won or lost, but they go because it's fun. It has to be fun. You got to make it fun. You got to figure out who you hire that can come in and can market the program and get it excited. And frankly, Yolanda McPhee-McEwen has done that. She's kind of provided a blueprint.
Oh, there's a clear blueprint.
I mean, she's done it to her everlasting credit. And she's yet to win an NCAA tournament game.
Okay. People understand the context of the sentence I'm about to make.
Well, no one's going to do that.
Okay.
So throw that away.
Doesn't have the wins, hasn't won a tournament game, straight excitement into the program relative to her sport to his. There's a lot of Bruce Pearl in her.
Yeah.
I'm around at everything. I'm up in the student sections. I'm begging. I'm going to fraternity houses. I'm going to sorority houses. I'm doing this. I'm doing this.
Oh, we talked
about marketing the program. There's a lot of Bruce Pearl.
There's a lot of Bruce Pearl. There's a lot of Eric Musselman.
Yeah. There's a certain, hey, build it and they will come element to this that is.
Yeah, for sure.
It resonates.
I mean, for sure. Got to be everywhere. You got to market. No, she's great at it. It's a great analogy. There's a lot of Bruce Pearl, a lot of Musselman, a lot of those kind of people, those kind of Nate Oates. I was talking about.
Musselman was at freshman check-in or whatever with you.
Yep. Yeah, he was. I've gone up there. Again, I have daughters.
Yeah, sure.
I've gone up there and done move-ins and bid days and stuff like that and seen that cat everywhere. And I mean, he's won.
Frankly, that's almost just a requirement everywhere these days.
What probably should be. What I was going to say is I was talking to Ryan Brown with the next round, and he said, man, we could get Nate Oates to get in the car and drive to Birmingham and come on the show damn near any time. They're number 1 in the country last week. It's constantly marketing. It's just part of the gig. Mike Bianco does it.
Mm-hmm. He does free speaking engagements all over the place.
And he's done it for 20 years now.
Yeah.
Because you sometimes just have to market your product, unless your product is football, at which point you just have to win. But in other sports, you've got to get out and press the flesh, and then you've got to recruit, and you got to build excitement. And I think that's why she was emotional, because she was like, boy, we were right there.
Oh, you're one bucket from, oh, my God.
Yeah,
like,
from from it being the story.
She hurt for her kids.
Sure.
God, they got us there, and just what they would be feeling right now with one more bucket.
Sure. But she also was smart enough to look around and go, boy, a bunch of people showed up.
Yeah. He was very honest in that press conference. I mean, look, it's what coaches, we're all over the place here, but it's fine. It's Tuesday. She was emotional. She was all those things, but what she was honest. You watched that post-game press conference. It wasn't coach speak. It was what she was actually thinking. I mean, I thought the line where she said that the first time Dawn Staley came to Oxford, she was embarrassed because the crowd was so bad. And
500 people.
She sensed it was like, God, it's one of my legends over here that I admire so much, and this is the product I'm in charge of.
Mm-hmm.
She felt a responsibility in that. And there had to be a certain, hey, look where we came when they walked in. So Carolina walked into the building on Sunday and was like, oh.
Yeah.
Which Carolina sees a good bit, I'm sure, because everybody shows up for Carolina.
Sure. But not everybody shows up like that.
No.
I mean, LSU does, and they're winning. Kim Mulkey's
done a hell of a
matter
job.
what you think of Kim Mulkey, she wins.
She is a psychopath, but she's a hell of a women's basketball
She wins
coach.
basketball games.
Yeah. Yeah, if I had to buy or sell Kim Mulkey winning a national title at LSU before she's done, I'll buy.
Yeah, I'd buy.
Yeah.
But, you look at the last week and what she's done with being competitive, and, more than competitive. When you take LSU to the fourth quarter and you take South Carolina to overtime, you're doing something.
No.
But it's more than the result on the floor, right?
Yeah.
It's the other stuff. It's like, I was at the bid day thing this year in August, and I look up and there's Eric Musselman. I'm like, what the hell is he doing here? And then dude hangs around and introduces himself to people and talks to people. And I'm not saying that people at Ole Miss haven't done that. It's not about that. It's just that's what you have to do. And you look at all these programs that are kind of winning, and 6 or 7 are going to go to the tournament. And Bama's got a real shot to go deep in the tournament. I think A&M has a real shot to go deep in the tournament. You've got to figure out how you get one of those kinds of guys. That's what you're trying to find. You got to go find a Todd Golden.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the problem at Ole Miss. We're going all over the place today. I'm sorry, my mind is not sharp today, so I'm just free-flowing. The problem at Ole Miss, and some of this is not Kermit's fault. It's not Kermit's fault that there was a COVID pandemic. Can't blame that on Kermit Davis. But he came in, he inherited a program that the year before had been god-awful, to where Andy just quit. Andy said, this is crazy.
He literally quit.
I need to get out of here. It's the only thing that's going to give them a chance. They're not going to play for me. So you follow that with they make the tournament. Then you follow that with a bad season that was irrelevant. They lost, I think, 5 of their first 6 SEC games. They were kind of off the map before it ever got started, before the kids came back for the spring semester.
Mm-hmm.
You follow that with the COVID year, and then you follow that with the last 2 seasons, where the season has essentially been over. And Kermit would push back on this, but you know what I'm saying.
There has not been an SEC season where people were engaged with postseason aspirations in the building since the year one.
Since year one. And before that. And so in the last 6 years, there's been one season in which people are in the building engaged in meaningful basketball games.
In the new calendar year.
Once the new academic year started.
Yeah.
Or the new spring semester started.
Correct, yes.
So that's the problem, is that basketball becomes an afterthought, becomes irrelevant. And people start doing we got baseball. Okay, I get it. But, look,
Not today.
last weekend, I know the weather was great, but there's been a lot of mid-Februaries. I've lived here for 15 years. There's been a lot of mid-Februaries where it's too cold to go hang out at a baseball game. And when does college baseball season become truly fun? If we're honest about it. When the league starts, which is
because it coincides with the weather warming up and the
mid-March.
Yeah.
Spring break comes and goes, then the league starts, and before you know it, it's April, and you got double-decker, and you got spring games, and you got this stuff, and it's starting to warm
Town's
up.
packed, and here we go.
People are starting to think about their swimming pools and stuff like that. People getting excited about the end of the school year. Little kids are out playing baseball on Saturday morning, and then you're going to the game on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's still plenty of window for basketball. When you don't have it, it's a huge gap.
Yeah. Justin Hill Creamery thanks you for a great king cake season. They're sold out at the shop, but if you check out today at Chicory Market, they probably got some small and large sizes to celebrate Fat Tuesday today. So appreciate all of you. Tons of you use them for your king cake purchases this year. So I appreciate it. They appreciate it. 662-419-9201. Remember, they make all their cheeses locally and in-house every day. I mentioned their house mustard yesterday. That's very, very good. Always keep that in stock. And plenty of items. They even do some catering for different events, showers, weddings, and whatnot. So, again, that's Justin Hill Creamery, 662-419-9201.
We're brought to you by Solutions RX. It's a probiotic multivitamin supplement company created by Ole Miss pharmacy alum Chris Cornelison. I was telling you yesterday about prescription support. They also have tons of supplements, vitamins, that kind of thing that you can just order off their site. It's going to make you feel better. Just what the goal is, right? Be healthier, feel better. Go to solutionsrx.com. Type in the promo code OEP at checkout. You get 10% off your first order. They got the BOGO winter sale going on at Dead Soxy. Right now, when you buy 2 sock bundles, you get the second bundle 50% off, or you get a free pair of socks with any single pair you purchase. To get the deal, just put any 2 bundles or any 2 pairs of socks in your cart. Apply the code Rebel Grove. If you've got bundles in there, it will take 50% off the least expensive bundle. If you've got 2 pairs of socks in your cart, it will make the least expensive pair free. So head over to deadsoxy.com, stock up on this incredible winter sale, and as always, stay soxy. Game Changer patches are the only 2-patch system available in the market to stop hangovers before they start. The warm-up patch used before or while you drink. The overtime patch used after you've been drinking to recover while you sleep. The all-natural ingredients will keep you in the game, ready for your next play. Go to GameChangerPatch.com, promo code RebelGrove20 at checkout. Get 20% off your purchase. ACS is owned by my friend Clay McNutt in Baldwin, Mississippi. It's a complete electrical control system solution provider, a Rockwell Automation recognized system integrator. To learn more about ACS, go to acsllcms.com or call 662-601-4381. It's getting into the spring, which is engagement season, wedding season. If you are in that market, get in touch with our friends at Lammon's Fine Jewelry. It's 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford. Lammon's has been serving the Oxford area for more than 75 years. Whatever your jewelry need is, they can take care of you. They're the gold standard in fine jewelry. Visit them at lammonsfinejewelry.com or call them at 662-234-2777.
Podcast also brought to you by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer MedSync. For your prescriptions the same day each month, take care of you. If you got some issues, something going on with whatever it is around what can be sometimes a very confusing situation with your prescriptions, they will help you out. They helped me out yesterday. They can help you out too. So whether it be Tyson Drugs in Holly Springs or G&M here in Oxford, remember they can also transfer your medications. Make one phone call. They take care of the rest. That's 662-236-2222. You got big Fat Tuesday plans. I mean,
is today Fat Tuesday?
It is. Yeah.
Oh shit! No, I didn't.
Making
know.
hurricanes and all kind of shit today.
I didn't even know. Isn't that crazy? I grew up in Louisiana. I just didn't think about it.
It's northern Louisiana, different country.
It is a totally different.
I mean,
place.
There's what is the line of separation?
Alexandria.
Which side are they on?
They're north, and then as soon as you get south of Alexandria, you're into a different place.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But Alexandria is more like Monroe or Ruston or something like that.
Yeah.
Than Lafayette.
Yeah. Totally different place.
Okay.
Like Shreveport and Lafayette couldn't be more
That's like,
different.
everybody makes fun of Florida and says, hey, they're 3 different states, and they are, but Louisiana is 2 different states.
Yeah. Shreveport's Texas.
Oh.
It's East Texas. Ruston's kind of Texas. Literally, where I grew up, we had what they called the Ole Miss, and we also had the Ole Tex. So we were sort of just in nowhere land.
Do what?
So Ruston's only 60 minutes from the Arkansas line.
Okay.
And it's only 65 to 70 minutes from the Texas line.
Okay.
And it's only 90 to 100 minutes from the Mississippi line.
Oh.
So we're kind of right there in the middle of nowhere. Just a bunch of pine trees.
Y'all still celebrating Fat Tuesday, though.
We did get Mardi Gras off.
Did you?
As kids, yeah.
Is that the whole state?
Yeah, the whole state got Monday and Tuesday off.
Is that how that works?
Yeah. But we didn't really celebrate it in Ruston. Ruston was pretty conservative.
If anybody is curious, speaking of Fat Tuesday, your recipe for a hurricane is 2 ounces of light rum, 2 ounces of dark rum, an ounce of lime juice, an ounce of orange juice, half an ounce of passion fruit puree, half an ounce of simple syrup, 1 teaspoon of grenadine, and then garnish it with an orange and a cherry.
Sounds sweet. The grenadine pushed me over the top.
It's very sweet, but you're covering it up. You're covering up 4 ounces of rum.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a light cocktail.
No.
I mean, settle in if you're doing a day of hurricanes. You can't. Doing a day of hurricanes would be cause for concern.
I know you're not drinking much anymore, but have you seen the Mezcal old fashioned that's on that YouTube channel that one of us subscribes to, so we both see it?
No, I haven't.
So I tried it. It's fantastic.
So just a normal old fashioned.
But
it's got mezcal.
It was tequila. It was like 3 ounces of tequila, an ounce of mezcal, a bar spoon of agave.
So that's acting as simple syrup.
Yeah, and then a few. It was like 2 dashes of Angostura bitters.
Okay.
And a couple of drops of chocolate bitters.
Chocolate bitters are underrated in
big
drinks
time.
now.
Big time.
If you're looking for something a little different, chocolate bitters are A+.
You take the orange peel, light it.
Yeah.
You get the juice, get the oil out. Fantastic.
Well, because like a lot of people make that misconception. An old fashioned is a style of drink. It has nothing to do with bourbon or rye or whatever.
Bourbon's just a spirit that's often used in it.
I mean, cognac was used for a long time.
Yeah.
It's simply a style of cocktail. Yeah, chocolate bitters are the most underrated bitter, and orange bitters are the most overrated bitter.
Agreed.
Orange bitters have a medicinal taste to me that I can't stand. I can pick it out of anything and go, that's not okay.
I don't use them.
Underrated additive, maraschino liqueur.
Oh,
just a liqueur, really good. Adds something. It's in a couple things. Always something good. Just keep in the bar. You just need a little bit of it, and from whatever the company is, it's slipping my mind right now that makes the cherries. What's the cocktail company that makes the really good soaked cherries?
I can't think of it.
It's going to drive me insane. Whatever. They make the liqueur, and I mean, it comes in a bottle. It's like this big. It's like, oh my God, you only need just a touch of it. But yeah, brandy as well. Yeah. Brandy for old fashions. So Luxardo.
I was pulling it up.
Luxardo.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the answer.
Yep.
I could see it, knew it was level. It was red writing on or whatever on a yellow thing, but I could not remember what it was.
There it is.
So,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, Luxardo. Okay. Pac-12. Pete Thamel yesterday. There's a lot of speculation here more than anything else. Like, I think, not saying Thamel had a quota, but it almost kind of felt like he had a quota a little yesterday. It's interesting.
And he's one of those guys that has to be careful because when he writes something speculative, people take it as fact.
Well, yeah, because a lot of times you go, hey, he wasn't guessing, but that means he can't guess. Like there's a weird give and take with that to where, yeah, there's a certain weight when he says it. If he's just going out there throwing a bunch of speculation around, you go, oh, well, that's interesting.
Yep.
The things that I picked out of this that I do find interesting, he said that the Power 2, he's obviously speaking of SEC and Big Ten, no matter what comes out of the Big 12, the Pac-12, what their television rights packages looks like, he thinks the SEC and the Big Ten are at least $30 million per season more per team than those schools. He thinks that's a baseline.
Agreed.
It's somewhere around for 30 per team.
So think of that over a 10-year deal.
$300 million per
At
team. At least. Not counting residuals just for being in that big two that come with a lot of other tributaries that we're not talking about.
And it might be $50 million per year.
Well, that would be a number.
Now you're talking about $500 million over a decade.
That's larger than Ole Miss's entire athletic budget 15 years ago.
I mean, you could almost sign Shohei Ohtani for that.
You're overpaying at $55 million. The Big 12 is going to be in basically its own upper middle class.
Yep.
Is what they have figured out. That the Big 12 in its current iteration, or whether, and he writes about this down low, they go grab Utah and Arizona State and Colorado.
They're going to.
They're going to settle into a very comfortable upscale neighborhood and be all right.
We always use the word fine. They're going to be fine. Not going to be great. They're going to be fine. They'll get a couple spots in the tournament. They'll be good.
They're going to be the Outback Steakhouse of college football.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
It's better than one of these other two programs, the other two conferences are going to be.
That's exactly right. They're going to be okay. And they'll have some good, I mean, like Big 12 basketball right now is freaking fantastic. I mean, they'll be fine. They'll do good. They'll have a healthy TV streaming package. They'll be relevant. People will talk about them. People will watch them. They won't be the Big Ten and they won't be the SEC, but they'll be the next step down. And it won't be a massive step. It'll be a big step.
The Pac-12 is situating in a weird spot because here in the next few weeks, we're going to find out what their potential rights situations are, whether Amazon does take that plunge, whether somebody else takes that plunge, whether somebody pays a ton of money and then tries to sell off subcontracts to then show it to those things. That's even a possibility where somebody takes it on and then tries to distribute it themselves almost to other entities.
But again, now we're talking about massive gaps.
Well, because we're looking at, and I think this is relevant, they visited San Diego State and SMU, probably adding those two programs.
Yep.
I feel pretty confident they're going to add those two programs.
Yep.
San Diego State has a very clear ceiling as an athletics program. SMU has more money than God, but are they going to put it in a way that, what are their possibilities? I don't know. I mean, if you told me somebody became decent, SMU would be where I put my money.
I would buy that stock.
Yeah. No. I mean, look, if SMU alumni really decide to care, it's a lot like we were talking about a few minutes ago with Wichita State. Okay. Then, hey.
Sure.
Go do whatever it is you can do.
Sure.
I mean, there are some people in Highland Park, I've talked to a couple people, that they believe there is a model to put them in a realm of basically this hybrid TCU/Duke conversation.
Sure.
Right, wrong, or indifferent, I don't know. But that is what people believe with SMU.
I'll buy that. Again, I'd buy their stock.
Yeah, I would too. I would buy SMU.
And if you're SMU and you're like, okay, we're going to get in a watered-down Pac-12, that's better than what it could have been.
It's better than the American.
It is.
Okay. As long as, and it's where I'm going.
Yeah.
Keeping Oregon and Washington.
Yeah.
You're constantly at the whim of the Big Ten deciding they want one of those two teams at any point, which is where the Pac-12 and what I think the meat of this column is them saying that Oregon and Washington are only going to be willing to do very small grant and right situations, probably 5 years or fewer, because they just go, hey, I can't get strapped into some long-term deal just in case the Big Ten decides to call us. So your two flagships.
Yeah, because if you're Oregon and Washington, you want a prenup in this deal.
Yeah, and that's kind of what's going on here is that those are clearly the two schools of relevance nationally in that conference, in this new conference.
Yeah. And
they're going, hey, we're not signing more than 3, 4, 5 years here, guys. Not doing it. So then if you're a TV thing, you go, hold on a minute.
Well, they're going to want outs too.
Oh.
It's going to be a wedding where everybody on both sides is like eyeing each other going, this isn't going to work, right?
They're wanting something. The Pac-12 with Oregon and Washington is hoping for something kind of in the $30 million per school per range. They think 40 is a pipe dream.
I do too. And you understand that the Big Ten schools are going to be getting like $65 million a year each. We keep coming back to the same thing, though. I keep coming back to the ACC.
And I'm going to get there, too.
Okay. Because they're watching this going,
Cal, Stanford, Washington State, and Oregon State right now are screwed.
They're done.
Because nobody wants them.
They're going to be in a league with Boise State, Fresno State, UNLV soon.
You think that's where this thing's headed?
By the way, a 20-year-old UNLV football player dropped dead yesterday.
Did he really?
Yeah. Sorry.
Is that why UNLV was on your mind?
Yeah.
It's somewhere in the. I think 30 is even strong. Because if you can't go many years, they're going to go, why am I dedicating that level of money to you? What does it look like?
I've heard a number lower than 20.
Well, at that point.
I know everybody streams, but
no.
Everybody doesn't stream Amazon.
No.
On Saturday.
Where you're the only. The NFL is the only people who can do the only game in town on Amazon, too. It's not like we're just on the Amazon system.
Yeah, the NFL's
flipping over.
Yeah, the NFL's in a different world.
And that's one game a week.
Yeah.
That's where you just go for that game.
Yeah, and they're in a totally different
tax bracket.
Yeah. I don't even think the SEC could pull it off.
No, they couldn't.
And so if the SEC couldn't do it or the Big Ten couldn't do it, well, the Pac-12 sure as hell can't do it. So they're going to anyway, it's flawed, man. It's over. It's done.
I mean, like, here's how screwed Stanford is, for example. And now Stanford's less screwed than even Cal.
Well, this is on Stanford.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Stanford, literally in this story, they talk about their only path to a relevant conference is if Notre Dame joins the Big Ten and demands that Stanford joins them. Good luck.
Yeah. I mean.
Well, we don't want to lose that Stanford game, so can you bring them too? It's like Notre Dame's going to go, hold on, I'll just play Ohio State. Cool. All right.
It's like the guy down the street going, hey, my path to stardom is getting Scarlett Johansson to marry me.
That's all it will take.
That's all it will take. I mean, true.
And then we're not even talking about the fact that the Pac-12, what do they look like when they lose Colorado, Arizona State, Arizona, and Utah?
They look like a league with Fresno State, UNLV, Boise
Suddenly,
State.
SMU's the damn flagship, and they might have been better off in the American.
Could have.
I mean, the SMU's problem is they couldn't find a way into the Big 12.
Right.
That was the death knell for that, that program.
Sure.
Because they didn't get their house in order early enough.
TCU did.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And nobody knows. Nobody has any clue where this thing...
So does Pete address the ACC?
Yeah, he says that the ACC's deal with ESPN runs through 2036, and part of the reason it ran that long is because it allowed the league to form the ACC network, but they're increasing nerves about more than $30 million annually its competitors will be earning above the ACC. About half the league is fine with the financial status quo, and there's another half, those schools most invested in football, that continue to look for creative ways to find more money, whether within the league or by finding a way out. Unequal revenue sharing continues to be discussed, but that can't cover a $30 million delta. You have publics and privates and big schools and
30.
Small schools. It's a little bit of the ACC uniqueness, but times like now, it really shows itself, and the last year has become so apparent. They don't think that a breakaway is imminent, but they think that hostilities will just continue to increase. And when I say imminent, I mean like 6 months. Like they think you're 18 to 24 months potentially for something looking completely different.
So here's what I think is going to happen. I think next summer
they can't find a way out of the grant of rights. That contract was written really strongly.
It was really the only way out is if a group of them break it at once. It's like 6 have to get out. And so you've got to get the Big Ten to take some and the SEC to take some.
And the ACC, because it's holding survival, goes, I'm not helping with any of this grant of rights. We're holding on to all y'all with 2 hands as tight as we can go, because he closes with the essence of an ACC escape is that it would cost more than $100 million to leave. And schools would still need legal wrangling to get access to their own games' TV money for more than a decade.
Mm-hmm.
That's a significant risk, but there's also plenty of risk for the high-profile schools of falling hundreds of millions behind national competitors. Different lawyers have different opinions. Eventually, someone will take the leap. You'd assume that others would follow right behind. As usual in college athletics, the lawyers will cash in. The only certainty from any type of attempted breakup or breakaway would be billable hours. quote, an industry source, if you're going to try and get out of the grant of rights, you better have a war chest. You're going to have to pay all of the legal fees.
But here's what's coming
Mm-hmm.
next summer. So we're going to have this summer where it's going to be kind of nostalgic, right? We talked about media days earlier. It's going to be just like the old days. The storylines are going to be Kirby and Nick and all that. But next summer, Chase, when UCLA and USC go to the Big Ten and Texas and Oklahoma go to the SEC, and it feels new and fresh and exciting because it's going to be new and fresh and exciting. And all these, because this is what else is coming this summer is the new schedules.
Yeah.
Hey, here's who Oklahoma's going to play. Here's who Texas is going to play. It's going to get excitement at places. And people are going to start talking about the SEC contract, the money. They already know about the Big Ten contract. This stuff's going to become less theory and more reality. And someone in those rooms in Chapel Hill, in Clemson, in Charlottesville, are going to say, hey, guys, we're getting $30 million a year. Arkansas and Missouri, two programs that we would look down our nose at, I'm just pulling them out of thin air, are getting 72. That's for the next 10 years. They're getting $42 million more a year than we are. We look down this is what I would be saying in the room. I would say, hey, can we have an honest conversation here? I know you're going to hate me, but let's be real for a minute. We look down our nose at North Carolina, at Tennessee, at Arkansas, at Missouri, at Ole Miss, at Mississippi freaking State. But Chase, if those programs make over 10 years $420 to $450 million more than you make,
primary,
they're better than you. Well, and it's going to be reflected in everything that happens.
And there's another huge hang-up here. Get to in a second. First, tell you about Northeast Spark, NESPARC, two packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford studio, your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's nespark.com, 662-238-3159, phone service, parental controls, network security, our wireless mesh extender for those who need that extra step in and more. So if you need internet in Lafayette County, parts of Union and Pontotoc counties where you did not previously have internet, that's 662-238-3159.
We're brought to you by Pinnacle home to the 401k advisory services team. They'll conduct a complimentary, no-obligation benchmarking and analysis of your current 401k plan. It's mypinwealth.com, MYPINN wealth.com. It's almost spring break, summertime. Get in touch with my buddy John Edwards at Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. Just give him some parameters and a budget, and he's going to give you options that you're not going to find on your own. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. Don't forget, next time you're in Oxford, stop by OPA. It's a perfect place to enjoy a Friday or Saturday on the square. Fabulous food, great craft libations as well at OPA. It's the Oxford's newest Greek restaurant. I'll have a mailbag to you tomorrow, brought to you by Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all of your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. Whitney sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. You can reach her at 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844. If you're on the job hunt or if your company is looking to hire quality, hard-to-find talent, you need to get in touch with Service Specialist Staffing and Recruiting Agency. They've been on the job since 1967, and they can take care of you. It's always free for the candidate, and payment of service for a company is solely contingent on if you decide to hire a candidate that they send. You've got nothing to lose, so give Will, Sydney, or Kelsey a call at 662-832-5138 or check out their new and improved website, servicespecialistltd.com. Don't just accept what you see, but imagine something new. Step forward, chase after a better version of yourself. Every day, Corinth Dental is helping people reinvent themselves one smile at a time. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures, including Invisalign. These clear aligners are the virtually invisible way to improve your smile. So call Corinth Dental today for a no-cost digital scan of your teeth. Let them show you the way to a straighter, healthier smile. 12 months, no interest, no down payment financing is available at corinthdental.com. And then don't forget our friends at Southern Traditions Farm. It's a 68-acre, 32-stall upscale equestrian training and boarding facility in Canton, Mississippi. They've got 2 sand rings, a grass ring, miles of wooded trails, lots of offerings, beginner lessons. You can compete in nationally recognized competitions as well. So if you're interested in exploring equestrian opportunities, get in touch with our friends at Southern Traditions Farm on Facebook or Instagram at Southern Traditions Farm.
Yeah, reading about teams playing Big Ten schedules. I mean, something that does not matter even the slightest. But UCLA baseball is going to work the Big Ten here coming up here soon. You're going to see some gaudy conference records and those things.
Yeah, yeah, they'll have their moment.
Go ahead and order the trophy. That'll be one of those 24-4 kind of league deals there. I mean, it does suck for those players. They're in LA and they play baseball to the level they do, and it's like, where's your conference weekend? Happy Valley, Pennsylvania,
Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah,
it's 12 degrees.
Only program without a baseball team in the Big Ten.
They don't have one?
They don't.
Oh, then you won't go there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Colorado doesn't have a team. Iowa State doesn't have a team, I don't think, and Wisconsin doesn't have a team.
Just said to hell with it.
Colorado's has been, I actually looked this up the other day. Colorado's has been over since 1980 when they cut like 4 sports, because it's confusing to a lot of people in the state because Northern Colorado has a team and can afford it, but the Buffaloes have not.
And like Indiana has a baseball team, and they have and they have men's soccer.
Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the 3 Power Fives off the top of my head are Iowa State, Wisconsin, Colorado.
Okay.
I think that's correct. I forget that some of the Big Ten teams have a team, but yeah, I think that's correct. Michigan cares. Illinois cares. Minnesota cares. There's a few Big Ten teams that care.
A little bit more every year.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Maryland cares.
Oh, well. Yeah, they don't count. They came from the ACC. Same thing.
They're in the Big Ten.
They are. They're the Big Ten champions.
There you go.
They'll be in Oxford this weekend.
Does Purdue care?
They have a decent team occasionally, but no, I mean, not to the level that.
Does Northwestern?
They have a team. Pretty sure they have a team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're playing at Wrigley. No, it's football, though. That's not baseball.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Northwestern has a team, I think. Anyway, where I was going with this is it's amazing, and I don't know how many, but I mean, Virginia and North Carolina, good examples potentially. But schools across the country, as this thing played out, because schools that were really proactive could have gotten in places where they just didn't get in. And part of that is because university presidents are so caught up on that freaking AAU stuff. They don't want to be involved with some of those other programs. And it's like, you're cutting your nose off over an athletic conference because you think that's going to demean your own academic education system.
Excuse me, sir. I would like to remind you of the math. We're making 30 a year. And that school that you just made fun of, they're making 72.
Oh, well, yeah, duh. Anthony Clarko transferred from Northwestern, Ole Miss's first baseman. You would think I would have that. It's still early. It's February 20th. My muscle memory is not there yet.
It's going to be all right.
My bad, Ginger. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, come on. No, that's it. I mean, somebody in those rooms is going to start saying those things. People like, I don't know, like Dabo Sweeney is going to walk into the room and go, you know what? I don't even know who the hell hand raised guy is in here, but let me be the one to tell you. We can't do this. You want us to keep winning? I got to have more money. How do we get more money? I got to play in a better league.
Somebody raises their hands and goes, it doesn't appear to be affecting Vanderbilt. Last time I checked, they're still a pretty good school. We good here? Like, Duke is not struggling in the ACC academically. It's going to be all right.
Well, the whole we're too good to be in a conference with them is so stupid.
Yeah, we don't want to hang out with the riffraff.
Has it really affected Florida being in the same conference with Mississippi State? I mean, has it?
Not to my knowledge. Being in the SEC has expanded Alabama's academic pursuits.
Yes.
They're a better institution because they're in the SEC.
And most of these schools down here, right? You've got, like at Ole Miss, for example, the accounting program is world class. It's national.
They have the most or the second most Rhodes Scholars in the country among public schools.
Yeah, it's just stop. It's all it's a silly argument to make. But the money is going to be, because money always changes everything. When the money goes from theory, which is kind of what it is right now, to reality, which is what it's going to be very soon, it's those ACC schools, the ones that want out, are going to figure out a way. And yeah, now would be a great time to be a lawyer.
Because if you can get on one of those cases, you are set.
It's going to take a couple of years. It's going to be tons of billing hours. But someone will do it. But if you're Oregon and Washington now, you're kind of begging the Big Ten, hey, remember us? But something's happening that stopped the Big Ten from doing that, because the Big Ten's kind of looking eastward.
They are.
So it makes me think that somebody in the ACC is telling the Big Ten, hey, hold tight.
Give me a minute.
We're working on this.
Yeah. Last thing here, a stat that I had forgotten yesterday as we close. Just a little plant the seed tomorrow, because I do have a couple NFL thoughts for tomorrow. Derek Carr says that his free agency is going to be a long process. Note from yesterday's Pulse on The Athletic. Since drafting Carr in 2014, the Raiders rank 32nd, dead last, in EPA on a defense and special teams combined. Tells you the environment that Carr has had to play in there in that Raiders organization. So kind of the what if the Jets gave him a number 5 defense and special teams with their DVOA from last year, giving what is coming up there. So Carr says it's a long process. I'm fascinated to see what he's going to make, where that's going to go, but we'll go from there. Ole Miss and Auburn tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. In that one, next up for the Rebels. So we'll look at the games tonight, those 2 really interesting games, State and South Carolina and A&M and Tennessee, and then look ahead to Wednesday night as well. So rebelgrove.com in the meantime. Baseball today, 4 o'clock against Arkansas State, and we'll talk to you.